I don't know when this thing's actually gonna go live, so I might already be live now. Okay, so now I'm officially live. So welcome to the 3 year anniversary Mike Text It Out live stream extravaganza where I'm here to say things in front of a microphone live. That's pretty much it. I'm just here to say things in front of a microphone live. But thank you for viewing or joining me live. I'm trying to do live streams more often, which would require me to wake up earlier because I work at night now. So I'm gonna be honest. This is like a special event. It's probably not gonna happen that often. And I consider 3 years on this platform to be a special event. Well, I do this every year, so I can't even say that. Like it's become an annual thing. It's become an annual thing, and I'm glad to be here to celebrate 3 years because 2021 was really a struggle, I think, for tech channels in general. So I'm happy to be here in 2022. And also, I think technically the channel's anniversary was last week. I think it was like in the first week of January. I don't know. I always go back. The first week I did the anniversary stream. Not the first week. The first year I did the anniversary stream on the 14th, I believe. And then last year I did it in the first week of January. I think it was like on the 6th. And so now this year I'm doing it on the 12th, which just also happens to be my birthday. So it's the channel's birthday, kind of, and my real birthday. So I don't even know which one's which. I don't even know how old I am. I don't even know why we have to do an annual live stream. I know why, because I wanted to. So the live stream, I like to talk about, kind of reflect on the year, kind of talk about what I'm going to do for this year or what's planned, because whenever I say I'm going to do something, it never really happens. So I just want to talk about plans for next year. And also, this is the first time I'm live streaming with this camera, which is kind of janky, to be honest. It's at least the live stream part of it. It's the Panasonic S5, the Lumix S5. So I got this, what was it? It was either December or November, somewhere around Black Friday-ish time frame. So I've had it for like over a month now. And this is a great camera. This is the first time I've tried the live streaming capability, because before I have a capture card and I would just hook my camera up via HDMI over capture card, but now I'm just doing direct USB to the computer and it's doing all the streaming over USB. So it's cool. It's really cool. It's just the camera acts weird. Like if you try to turn it off, it won't turn off. And like there's some bugginess with the software. I think technically the streaming component of it is in beta. So I can't fault them too much, but it's been in beta for a long time and it's still janky. So, I mean, it's been like 4 years. They could have ironed it out by now. Anyway, yeah. I'm liking this camera so far. I'm using the autofocus, which is iffy on a Panasonic camera. Let's test the autofocus, actually. I wonder how good this thing is. Let me see. Is it focused on my phone yet? It tried. It focused back. Okay, there we go. It tried. It's still not great. Freedom Art says, sorry, I'm late. I hope I didn't miss anything. Yes, you did. You missed the whole intro. I'm tired of people being late. Gosh. But yeah. No, you didn't miss anything. I was just kind of talking about, this is the first time I'm using my Panasonic S5 for live streaming, and it's doing a pretty good job. But the autofocus isn't the strongest. That's basically what I was saying. But yes, there's an annual tradition. I'm actually going to start first this year, and it's my favorite product of 2021. And for me, it's not necessarily a product that came out in 2021. It's just the product that I feel like I got the most use out of. And 2021 was an interesting year because we had a lot of stuff that came out. Well, okay, technically the Xbox and the PS5 came out in 2020, but I got them both last year. And then also the Switch OLED actually came out last year, and that's great. But none of those are the thing that I use the most in 2021. It was actually the 12.9 inch iPad Pro with the amazing mini LED screen. I've talked about this before, but the iPad is literally, it's dirty. I should have cleaned this off. Look, it's getting used, okay? It's used. Like, what do you expect? It's used. Like, I use it. It's got fingerprints and stuff all over it. Just throw it on the floor sometimes for no reason. But the iPad is probably one of my biggest tools, especially with this channel. And just entertainment in general. It's kind of my bedside, like, watch anything on it. And then also I do my thumbnails. I usually do music for the channel. And so with this new one, the screen is just a lot better. And plus I stepped up to the bigger size. So it's made it way easier to do thumbnails. Now I will say, at first the mini LED screen was nice. And now I just don't even notice it at all. Like honestly, I felt like I could have just got like a 12.9 inch 2018 or 2020 iPad Pro. And I probably would have felt the same way about it. That's the only bad thing. Like, yeah, technically it has the M1 chip. But really, they still haven't given us any applications that are taking advantage of the iPad Pro's power for real. Like, they gave us all this extra power and extra RAM and all this stuff. And you still really can't do anything with it. So that's the knock that I still have against it. I was excited when they announced the M1 iPad Pro because I was like, oh, maybe we can finally get Logic Pro on the iPad and I can get rid of the stupid MacBook Air. But no, we still don't have any Pro apps. They haven't done anything with it. I'm hoping maybe at WWDC we'll see something announced that I probably shouldn't set this on top of my audio interface. It's probably not a good idea. I set the iPad directly on top of the audio interface where my mic hooks up into. That could have been bad. But anyway, hopefully they give us something that takes advantage of the iPad Pro. I think that they just generally need to split the iPad's operating system between the regular iPad and the Pro. So that way they don't have to worry about having to make apps that work on every iPad. They can just have apps that are specifically for the iPad Pro. And I feel like that's probably part of the issue right now because they do have to make these apps scalable back to like the baseline iPad and all the iPads that they support still in their line. I think they just need to do a split and be like, you know what, this is a Pro app and this is designed only for this iPad and give the iPad Pros their own specific operating systems. I mean, this thing costs, like, before the Magic Keyboard, it was like $1,100. It's literally the size or the price of a MacBook. So it's just kind of a waste to pay this much money for it, and then you can do the same stuff that you do with a regular $300 iPad, essentially. So, yeah, as much as I just complained about it and went on a whole rant, it's still my favorite thing of 2021. I think second would definitely have to be the Switch OLED, which is surprising because, again, I got the PS5 and the Xbox, but the screen is really a game changer. I remember when I dropped my review / first impressions. Oh, thank you, Mr. Carter. It's been 3 years. I'm super excited to continue. But yeah, this thing has been awesome. So this is probably my second favorite thing from last year. This the Switch OLED. I remember I got a comment in the review being like, it's not worth it to upgrade if you already have a Switch. And I still say if you only play handheld, it's worth it to me. That's me personally. I can understand like you're not really getting any benefits gameplay wise as far as like the speed, but the screen is just that much better. Now, the worst of 2021, which I don't think I've done this before, but the thing that I hated the most from last year, and this is also not fair because technically this came out in 2020, it was probably the Airpods Max. I think I was very disappointed with the Airpods Max because, I don't know, they're $500 headphones, and like, I just expected them to work better as wired headphones, and that was just some really weird janky software stuff. I think that whole battery drain issue really killed the whole experience for me. Like, imagine getting a new $500 product and then every time you go to use it, it's dead for like the first 3 months that you have it. And then by the time they fixed it, I was just like, I don't even care anymore. Freedom Art said, do you have Metroid Dread on the OLED? Unfortunately, Metroid Dread has been outside of my budgetary constraints, so no, I don't have it. I really tried to buy the game, but you know, I just haven't been able to. And it wasn't on sale for Black Friday, so I'm not buying it. Anyway, yeah, the AirPods Max. they're good. Like they're good headphones. They're built really well. Jeff is actually still using them. I just bought them and I was like, I enjoy these way better. Like I've had these for years now, and they do everything that I need to. They sound almost as good, and I only paid like $180 for them versus $500. So I was like, there's really no reason for me. There was no reason. There was never a reason for me to get new headphones. I was just really curious about the Maxes. I'm glad I experienced them. They're really good for probably Apple users, and that's it. I just feel like if we try to do anything outside of the Apple ecosystem with them, they're just not worth it. I think the most annoying thing was like, if you use it wired, then you have to adjust the volume on the headphones separately from the volume on the device that you're using, and that really got on my nerves. All right. Now it's time for me if I could speak today, that would be very nice. It's time for me to dive into a controversial subject that I have not yet covered on this channel, that every other YouTuber was talking about, and that is the whole, they got rid of the dislike button last year, and everyone was mad. Well, no, the button's still there. They just got rid of the counter, really. So the funny thing is, my channel was actually one of the ones that randomly got picked to do testing on this. So I actually didn't have like the dislike counter for a while before they actually rolled the feature out. So to me, it didn't really change things that much. I was already used to it by the time they rolled the feature out. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think that as a creator, as a small creator especially, I don't think that the dislikes were that helpful. But also I can understand the argument of people like, especially if it's an informational video, wanting that dislike counter to be public to know if the information they're getting is correct. But I will also argue that sometimes people just dislike videos for other reasons, not necessarily because the information's incorrect. Sometimes, like I had somebody comment one time that they're like, oh, I keep disliking these videos, but they keep showing up on my homepage. So they could also be doing it because they just don't want the video to be recommended anymore. So there's other reasons that they might dislike a video. And I think that the right way to go about it, instead of getting rid of the counter, would have just been like, if you hit dislike, just have like an option to pick why you dislike the video. I think that would have been more helpful to the creator, and then you still could have kept the dislike counter instead of just getting rid of it completely. But yeah, that was my biggest issue. With dislikes, it's like, a lot of the times, unless someone leaves a comment, which most times they don't, I don't know why they dislike the video, and that doesn't help me like improve. So I'm not like that bent out of shape about them getting rid of it, honestly. Because as a user of YouTube, like not as a creator, someone that watches content, I never really interacted with the dislike button. Like if I didn't like a video, I would just stop watching it usually. But yeah, I understand like some people like, disliking or whatever, which is completely fine. But for me, I never even paid attention to the like versus dislike ratio on videos. Even if it's informational, I will usually just watch a little bit of it, and I could usually parse out if it was going to be like a good video or not with correct information. But yeah, that's just me personally. I never really interacted with it. So as a user, I don't really care. As a creator, I wish they would just fix the system and find a better way to provide feedback to the creator instead of just hiding it. Because I mean, we can still see it internally anyway, so it's not like they're like, oh, we're getting rid of it because of these targeted campaigns and stuff. But it doesn't, like, you can still see the dislike ratio when you look at your videos like in YouTube Studio. So I don't know, it's a way of YouTube like trying to deal with the problem by not dealing with it, just doing the easiest thing they can to not really have to fix the issue. But that's just me, personally. All right. Other than that, I think the only other thing I want to talk about is in my 2021 news video. I said that the MacBook Pro was the most exciting product of 2021. And I just wanted to elaborate on that a little bit more. It's not because, for one, I don't really use MacBooks like that anymore. Like I have a MacBook Air just to do music stuff, like just for Logic Pro. I literally don't use it outside of that because Apple really burned me with the last two Macs that I bought. Like they both had issues. Like my iMac had hard drive issues, and then I didn't want to replace the hard drive because you had to take the screen off and do all this stuff. So I ended up running it off of an external SSD, and it was just a super annoying computer to use. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go all in on this 2018 MacBook Pro. Well, not all in. I bought the 16-inch, or 15-inch, sorry. It was 15 at the time. I spent like over $2,000, and then that computer just had issues from day one, issues which I should have taken to the Apple Store sooner. That was the one. It was an older video, but the battery swelled up at the Apple Store while the rep was trying to tell me that there was no issues with the computer, or he probably wasn't going to be able to find any issues, and then he noticed the battery was swollen. So that was a whole thing, and that kind of burned me out on owning an Apple computer, because at that point I just switched everything over, like my whole workflow for videos over to Windows. And yeah, just basically anything that I could do on Windows, I do on Windows now. I'm actually playing around with Linux too, but that's going to be a video probably for next week. But yeah, I have another computer with Linux on it. So yeah, personally, from a personal standpoint, I don't even use MacBooks anymore. Like, I'm really burned on a MacBook. It would take me a lot to go back to trying to use a Mac full time again after like getting two bum computers that I spent a bunch of money for. But I just wanted to say that even with that being said, even as me not being the biggest Mac fan because of my personal experience, I still think that that's probably the most exciting product for last year because of what they were able to do with efficiency. So the thing is, the MacBook Pros, the higher end ones, are not the fastest computers. Like, there are Windows computers that are faster, but they're doing it like while consuming half the power with amazing battery life. Freedom Art said, "Oh wait, isn't today your birthday, by the way?" Yes, technically it is. I am turning 21 again. Thank you for pointing that out. You know, it's not every day that you turn 21, so thank you. But yeah, I think that it's going to change a lot more than just stuff for Apple, because like I was saying in that video, they're going to have to compete on the Windows side, and Windows or Microsoft attempted to do like an ARM-based Surface originally, like back in the day, like their first Surface, the Surface RT, and it was awful. And every time they do something that's ARM-based, which are like the processors that are, you know, the architectures that are used for phone processors and tablet processors, like mobile chips, every time they've done that on the Windows side, like any other manufacturer, has been terrible. And then somehow Apple comes in and they just make these computers that are awesome, and they're getting all these gains from it. And so now they have to figure that out, like, somehow. And they had like a head start. They've literally had like a 10-year head start. Freedom Art said, "No, aren't you like 32? No, that's no. 21 again. Like, you turn 21 and you just stay that age. I don't know what you're talking about with this whole 32 thing. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, the the MacBook, I think, is going to be super exciting going forward. I think it's going to change the laptop industry. That's why I chose it, even over the Steam Deck, which I'm personally more excited about as a product, because that's probably a product I'm going to use a lot. And the MacBook is probably a product I'm not going to use at all, or barely. So that was the reason that I chose the MacBook Pro. Now it's time. Really, 33? This ignore the chat. There's inaccurate information going on there about my age. Again, I'm 21 for the 12th time, and I don't need people in the chat trying to say 33. That's not accurate. But also, I keep forgetting stuff. I forgot to acknowledge. I just want to thank everybody. So this year, or last year, I finally reached 1,000 subscribers on the channel, and obviously I couldn't do that without people watching and liking and commenting on the videos. So I just want to thank everybody for that. I was finally able to monetize my videos. So before I wasn't making any money at all, and so finally started making a little bit of money this year. And so I'm glad. Because I think I can't remember if it was 2020, but YouTube just started putting ads on videos that weren't monetized anyway. So before, it was just like, well, there's still ads on the video, but YouTube was just making all the money. So I wasn't able to make any money. But more importantly, I just want to make videos that get people to come back and watch. So the fact that I reached 1,000, like I said, to me is amazing. And I just really want to thank everybody. It's not really about the money. or even subscriber goals anymore. I just really want to make the best content. So the more people that subscribe, it lets me know that at least I'm making good content. I hope the content's good. I know it's not always good. You know, sometimes it just be all over the place. But yeah, there was also more of a shift to a little bit more of a shift to gaming, and the way that I like to cover gaming is just from like a news standpoint, because gaming videos, I don't know, I don't play a lot of games, and so I don't like playing. So I don't really like playing games on like stream or in videos unless it's something like tech related, like some new tech or something like that, like a new VR game. That's when I like to play games for videos. Otherwise, I just like covering the news about hardware mostly. I don't even like to talk about the actual games themselves. So that's been more of a focus this year. I think like tech in general. I know like the other creators that I follow, like I watch their videos, like Jay's 2 Cents and Linus Tech Tips. They've all kind of talked about how the fact that tech videos just aren't doing as well because of the shortages, graphics cards, game consoles, of course, just the general chip shortage. So people just don't want to watch the content. And it's funny because I've even found myself like, it'd be a video about a graphics card, and I'm like, I don't care to even watch it because I can't buy it right now. So that's why there was kind of a shift in focus on the content, a little bit more away from the PC stuff. Also, I just don't buy PC parts in general that often because like I have my couple computers and I'm not upgrading them that often, and all the content I do is just around the stuff that I buy. But yeah, I decided to try something new for last year, and I'm pretty happy with it. I actually have a lot of fun covering like game hardware and gaming news. Still covering tech news, still doing my Apple stuff whenever that comes up. Like my so Mr. Carter asks, is the GTA Trilogy Switch version better now? I haven't played it in a couple months, honestly. I think when it first came out, I was playing it a lot, and then I ended up getting Cruising Blast, and I got distracted. But last time I played it, the frame rate was a little bit better. I have to check back in on it to see. It was never like unplayable, but I can say like I couldn't really recommend someone buying it for $60 just because of the state that it was in. I played the Xbox version as well, at least of San Andreas, because that's on Game Pass. And if you play it like running at 60 the way it's supposed to run, it is a lot better than the Switch version. I still enjoyed it, but last time I checked in on it, I think it was still kind of like, I have to check on it though again, and I'll follow up and let you know. But they did like a major patch last time. It seemed like it was a little bit smoother, but I don't know. I still personally enjoyed it, but I played those games on PS2, and so I'm not that picky about like the bugs that bother other people. I didn't find any bugs personally that were unplayable, that made it unplayable. It was just like the occasional frame rate stutter. So I did spend $60 on it like an idiot because I really wanted to play it. But yeah. I think I'm still gonna focus a little bit more on like the gaming stuff. I still want to do some more VR videos. There's been one video I've been meaning to do because they added this feature on the Quest 2 where you can insert yourself in the game using the phone camera. So I'm curious to see how good that actually is. I just haven't got around to doing the video yet. So hopefully now that I have a little bit more time, now that I'm working from home again, I can do these more complex projects, because video like that's probably going to take a few days between like recording and editing, and then I'm probably going to do some green screen stuff, and then yeah. So hopefully I can get that video done, and then some of the other projects that I was putting off because I was working for 7 months, like having to drive 2 hours every day, 2 to 3 hours depending on traffic. So that kind of took a lot out of me. So hopefully I can get back to some of these videos that I want to do, these vanity projects. But yeah, my goals for this year, because I almost forgot to talk about that. I was about to end the stream. I had to do my big gasp, like I'm about to bring the stream to an end. But my goals for this year, I don't really have a goal. Like I don't have a subscriber goal, just to make the best videos possible. That's just what I'm going to do and continue to do. And we'll see where it goes. This year is going to be crazy. I don't even know where the world is going to be at the end of this year, because, you know, we got new variants and all this stuff, and we're still dealing with this pandemic. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just going to continue to make videos for you guys that are good. That's my promise. My promise for this year. But with that being said, I'm going to bring this stream to a conclusion so I can go and finish recovering. I don't think I mentioned it, but I actually got my booster shot yesterday, and I thought I was like, okay, I should be in the clear by today, and then I wasn't, and I felt horrible like most of the day. So I'm actually gonna go. Let me see. The other video, you said you're in Tidewater. I'm in Richmond. You are doing good. Thank you so much. Yes, I am in the Tidewater area, 7 cities, and I'm actually in Virginia Beach. So, yep, I am local. I've not been to Richmond in a while, but yeah, I am in Virginia and the Tidewater area. But all right, I'm gonna bring this video to a conclusion because I'm gonna go back to sleep and recover from this vaccine or this booster shot that I got yesterday. But I will be back on Sunday as usual with another news video, and then next week with some computer-based thing with Linux. I don't know how the video is going to turn out. It's probably going to be crazy. But thank you for everybody. I can't even talk for the outro. Come on. I'm ruining it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the channel. You guys are awesome, and I will see you soon. I'm ending the stream now. I gotta click the button. I'm clicking the button. And I gotta click the second button. Come on, why does it gotta be 2? Alright. Later.